Okay, everybody. Quick thing. I only just to keep everything organized and to not get people buried in the comments, I only do React requests through the Discord now. And you don't just go into the Discord and type your request. You have to approve of the rules, your role, and then go into the React chat, which happens after you approve the rules. Okay, so just a little thing there. This is a request that I'm doing from Becca. Thank you for the request, Becca. And this is Aurora, God is a Woman. It's an Ariana Grande cover. I can words. That's hair.
You love it how I move you. You love it how I touch you, my one. When all is said and done, you believe God is a woman.
Okay, wow. Becca, this kind of explains a little bit of your vocal preferences and your technique. This is really pretty and very ethereal kind of singing, very light. Let's give it another listen here.
You love it how I move you. You love it how I touch you, my.
Okay, so whenever we have vibrato, it's a sign that we're using some sort of tilt. It's very hard once you use tilt, just laryngeal tilt. You just tilt this to go up. You kind of need to, after a certain point, you need to tilt something, whether or not it's the classical tilt, which will give you a vibrato, or if it's the belt tilt. Either way, you're tilting a piece of your cartilage to stretch out your vocal folds. Now, because you're stretching them out, they can accept more breath pressure, which tends to add volume. So it's really easy, once you start learning how to sing in your top, to have the notes kind of like punch a little bit, right? They become louder inherently. So navigating that elegantly takes a lot of work and practice.
You love it how I move you. You love it how I touch you.
So how is she doing that? Well, there's a couple ways. One, she's being incredibly gentle with her breath. And she's taking a very shallow breath. There's nothing wrong with a shallow breath. It's easier to control. It'll give you less volume. You just have to be a little bit careful that it's not too shallow, because then you'll start being breathy. She's not breathy. A very clear tone. The vowels on top, too, are helping here. Ooh and are very neutral vowels. So, you know, move you or love you or touch you or whatever, those are very neutral vowels, which will help kind of keep the sound from popping and give this etherealness. Also, we're with a microphone, so compression could be a factor as well, and probably is. So just a heads up there. Recording stuff tends to hide how we might sound without it, right?
My one. When all is said and done, you believe God is a woman. Feel it after midnight, a feeling that you can't fight, my one. It lingers when we're done, you believe God is a woman.
Almost like Celtic. It really reminds me of Celtic tunes, right? This is really cool. Her piano playing is delicate as well. I'm wondering if this is a drum machine.
I don't want to waste no time. You ain't got a one-track mind.
No, okay, he's playing on the
Have
box
it
here.
any way you like. Na, 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 na. Ain't nobody else can relate.
This is another cool thing here. Okay, so like one of the problems that can happen with this style of singing, or any singing, if you just choose the same tone and color throughout, it can get boring really fast. And so it helps to have options, right? And so she exercises the options here. Right? A little bit more oomph on the bottom. How's she doing that? A little bit more torso compression. She's still loose. And she's also a little brighter vowels. Na, 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 right?
Can relate. Boy, I like that you ain't afraid. Baby, let me down.
I talk about this a lot, and I remember when Chloe was doing it, one of the Chloe and Holly reacts that I did, Chloe was like doing a lot with her torso to keep it loose. I really can't recommend that enough. like people will think like, oh, you're moving because you're into the music, and you're really like you're just keeping your torso light, like you're just making sure you're flexible. Like Axl Rose has his little viper thing. Chloe does a lot of movements to keep her body loose. You know, people are just going to think you're into the music. In reality, you're trying to keep your technique in check here. This is really important for people like me who do I do manual labor for the day job, right? So a loose torso can be really hard for some folks, particularly if you're a gym rat. So this is really helpful
Let's
here.
pray. Na, 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 na. And I can be anything you told me not to be. When you try to come for me, I keep on flourishing. And it sees the
nice
universe
harmonies.
when I'm in this company. It's all in me, all in me. You love it how I move you. You love it how I touch.
Okay. So we have the harmonies here, and we have the continuation of this ethereal thing. Now she's going to do something subtle to get a little taste. That, right?
When I'm in this company, it's all in me, all in me.
So nasality is not a bad thing. It's a flavor. It's a flavor. And that's the intentional use of nasality to give a little brassiness to the tone, right? I think oftentimes we hear nasality and we use it as a pejorative when people use it like throughout their entirety of singing. Excuse me, but like it's not a bad thing. It's a flavor, and it's great to use in that way. My goodness, this is what I get for drinking a carbonated beverage while I'm doing a react.
Love it how I move you. You love it how I touch you, my one. When all is said and done, you believe God is a woman.
A little bit more vocal power, right? A little bit more of the tilt to get a little bit more volume. So this was a question that actually came up in the live stream, was about projection. Vowels help. So if I just do, like, if I don't have my tongue forward, just fixing that can give me a lot more vocal power. Right? Just that resonance that's coming from my mouth. That gives a lot of volume just there. A bigger inhale can also give you more volume, but that can get squirrely. The bigger the inhale, the more you have to be able to control it, and the better your breath control has to be, the looser your torso has to be. That gets hard. That's a hard solution to that problem. But you can work on that. But the biggest one is you can tilt more, right? So the when you tilt your cartilage, it's not an on-off switch. Like I say all the time, it's not an on-off switch. It's got the whole range of motion here. So if I do this, when I do this, that means I'm tilting my cartilage. Right? So tilt is great. Tilt fixes a lot of stuff. There's even another thing you can do, which is you can add the aryepiglottic sphincter. I'm going to move my mic back because I'm going to clip the mic, because this is opera. So I'm going to throw in the tilt, and then I'm going to do a little aryepiglottic sphincter, which helps with high notes. So how do I find the aryepiglottic sphincter? I'm going to plug my nose. That's the aryepiglottic sphincter in isolation. Okay, that is pure. That's not me using my nose. See how the nose doesn't change anything? That little obnoxious buzz sound, when thrown in with everything else, does this. I'll do this when I'm doing the sphincter. Right? A lot more power in there. So we have so many options when it comes to vocal power. So just to throw that out there, if you want that little flavor, if you want that little extra, that there's a lot you can learn to do that, and you don't need to push your voice to be louder. You just play with a couple of things, and your voice will become a lot more resonant, and power becomes effortless and easy. You should never push your voice for power. It's the worst way to go about that, because you'll also go flat.
Feel it after midnight, a feeling that you can't fight, my one. And lingers when we're done, you believe God is the woman. I'll tell you all the things you should.
Intentionally breathy, right? We haven't had breathy tone yet throughout this whole thing. It's been very light. It's been very ethereal, but we haven't had breathy yet. And I hear this a lot in people who want to be ethereal, who want to try and do this kind of a thing, this Celtic style, is that they go immediately to the breathy. Don't do that. Listen, being quiet and subtle and ethereal without breathy, that's hard. That's good vocal technique, but it's important because when you're breathy, it means that air is going through the folds, it's going to dry them out, and it's going to lead to vocal fatigue, not vocal harm necessarily. So you're not going to do a lot of harm unless you start doing crazy things after you whisper for a long time. But it tires you out. And so if you want to be practicing for long periods of time, if you want to be performing for long periods of time, you cannot make breathiness the constant default. You have to make it a flavor. And she's making it a flavor. It's not constant.
No, so baby, take my hand, save your soul. We can make it last, take it slow.
And it wasn't for that long even, right? And here we go with the nasal.
I can be everything you told me not to be. When I try to come for me, I keep on flourishing, and it sees the universe.
And this is where I'm jealous of the UK and the EU having a K through 12 music education program, because she's now syncopating. Like she's syncopating with the piano and the voice. That's like tertiary piano skills. It's not necessarily that easy. And I really wish that the US had mandatory K through 12 music education. But I won't.
When I'm in this company, it's all in me, all in me. Love it how I move you, you love it how I touch you, my one. When all is said and done, you believe God is a woman. Feel it after midnight, a feeling that I can't find my one. It lingers when we're done, you believe God is a woman.
It's a very lovely, lovely cover. And I imagine it's nothing. I don't listen to a lot of Ariana Grande. Holy crap.
God's woman, God's woman, God's woman, God's woman, God's woman.
So if you're going to do repetition, you have to make it matter. The best artist for that I would listen to is Big Mama Thornton. I have a playlist on my playlist channel. Go listen to a lot of Big Mama Thornton. Repetition you cannot do the same thing over and over and over again. This carbonated drink stuff has to stop. You have to do something different when you repeat, right? And she's doing that.
God is a woman, God is a woman.
Lovely. Okay. Yeah. So I know that I have some folks that follow me that are religious. I'm not here to co-sign any sort of religious anything. I'm not going to indulge in any sort of arguments that might follow. I am not particularly religious myself. I don't have any problem with religion or whatever, but let's keep it civil. If you're going to get like intense about this in the comments, please be respectful. I know this is touching on some stuff. I don't think it should be that dramatic, but you never know. I just want people to respect one another. I don't want to have to go delete a bunch of comments. I thought this was lovely, Becca. Thank you for sharing it. And again, if you want to come into the Discord and share something that you want to be listened to, that's a lot better than the comment section, though I do read the comments. And I try to get to the stuff in the comments. Like the Gina Aiko one, that was a comment. Chloe Halley, that was a comment. So I do try to get to the YouTube comments, but the Discord's way easier for me. Anyway, Becca, this helps me understand what you're going for a lot more. So I appreciate you sharing this. Yeah. I do live stream Q&As if you have vocal questions. That one's actually coming up right now. So I got to close this one out. If you missed the Q&As, on my Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, Triller, whatever is easier for you to follow and get the benefits from the Q&As. I post most of the Q&As. If I can get to all of them, that's great, but sometimes I miss them. But usually they're all up on those platforms. And yeah. Oof. I'm not drinking carbonated beverages ever again with React. Yeah. Thank you. And that is all.